We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Vikings Uncensored live. Apologize in advance if my voice cracks out. Recovering from
going through puberty.
I went through that last week.
Perfect way to start the show.
Just getting over a cold, so bear with me, and my internet hopefully holds out again. Good evening, Drew, Skull Mafia, Dave, Reggie, everybody in the chat.
Didn't see any ponder in that preview. Funny.
I'm not even going to ponder that one. Good evening, Jared. We've reached the offseason for everyone now, after, of course, the Super Bowl is done and gone with. Good evening, Doc. Kind of in a little bit of a lull right now, but the fun stuff is just about to begin. A lot of dates coming fast and hard here. That's what she said. But we'll go through that stuff here in just a little bit. A couple of news items, and then you guys throw your comments and questions, concerns, topics, whatever you want over in the comments tonight. We're kind of going to do a little bit of a free-for-all, and we'll let it take us where it takes us. So,
yay.
With that, we will start out here with some news items. As of today, the Seahawks quarterback, Geno Smith, had his contract for 2024 go fully guaranteed for the injury portion of it, which guaranteed him another $12.7 million. Meaning that it's likely Geno Smith remains the quarterback in Seattle.
That's my thought as well, yeah.
Or at least a bridge quarterback. Even if they take a quarterback, at least he'll be a bridge quarterback.
Right.
I mean, Geno's played well the last 2 years.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
No, with the new regime coming in there, it'll be interesting to see how he handles the new offense and that kind of stuff.
Could he get the same, Geno Smith out of him, Pete Carroll?
I think somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they retained the old offensive coordinator, so maybe he won't be changing any the offense. So, hopefully a nice transition for him there. Good comment there with Jared. Nice payday, not bad considering he was close to being done in the league a year ago.
Geno's one of those rare quarterbacks that we talk about once in a blue moon, that it takes 5 years before they really hit their stride, and it seems like you get one of those guys every 5 to 10 years, in the league that might take more than your usual 3-year expectation of what you're going to have in a quarterback. It took longer. I think a lot of it had to do with the teams he was playing for and the teams that he had been on and traded around to, but he's found a good spot in Seattle, and that Seattle fans are really embracing him. So good dude,
Yeah. I mean, Geno Smith was okay when he was with the Jets. He wasn't spectacular, but he was solid, and he's found a home in Seattle, and good for him. But on to some Minnesota Vikings type news. heard this earlier this week. Don't know how legitimate it is, but seems like it's there's a little bit of steam behind it anyway. The Vikings are rumored to have offered Kirk Cousins a contract extension, but Kirk's camp has rejected it because apparently it was nowhere near what they were expecting or what they are demanding. So
you know what? If Kirk cared about the team, then maybe he would actually think about it a little bit longer than just taking a look at it and blinking his eyes and say nope. And honestly, it's like I told you earlier this week, when we discussed this a little bit amongst ourselves. If we plan on keeping Kirk around for another fucking 4 years after we had canned Zimmer and Spielman, we might as well have just let Spielman fucking stick around, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I've had this discussion with I don't know how many people on Twitter X this week. I mean, it seems like the minute the Super Bowl was over, the Kyrgyzstan army had a massive mobilization along the border and have been on the offensive all week long. Dave, outstanding news. I would tend to agree with you on that, Mr. Stefano. It's time. It's time to go in a different direction.
I understand maybe the first and second year sticking with Kirk to kind of keep, some sort of competition window open or whatever. That's not even it, but what have you. I can understand 1 or 2 years sticking with Kirk here, but you're getting into your third year. You're getting into your meat and potatoes of your, of being here, long enough to where you go get your guy now, or you're looking at, working somewhere else here in the next couple of years because you decide to hit your wagon to Kirk Cousins for far too long. Not saying Kirk's a good player or not, but when it comes to dinking around and golly geez in these fucking contract offers that we've been giving this guy because he either gets what he wants or he doesn't stay around at all, then you know what? Fuck you, walk.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It's
don't turn around and say that. I'll give the hometown discount a thought, and then turn around and then not even blink at the offer that we throw out there for him.
Yeah, I mean, Jared makes a good point here. I can't blame Kirk for trying to get as much bank as he can. I mean, he's already got plenty, but it's when he, like what you just said there. When he goes out and talks about this, wanting to be a Viking, wanting to do this, and all that, and then when it comes down to brass tacks, he's nope. I want my fully guaranteed X number of dollars, X number of years, and if I don't get it, that is all it is to it.
I want a fucking title. I want
Absolutely.
a title. I want a Lombardi. That's what I fucking want.
Future of the Vikings football is not Kirk Cousins. I agree, Drew. I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same shit over and over and expecting different results. We run it back. Oh, it didn't work. Next year it's going to work. Let's run it back again. Next year it's going to work. Let's run it back again. Pretty soon, all the guys you're running it back with are 35 years old, and you end up like we did at the end of the Spielman regime.
I know. This whole running it back. Am I still here?
You're here. Yeah.
Okay. This whole running it back thing has been going on for how fucking long now with how many different goddamn guys? Excuse me.
Way too long.
Way too long. Let's go get a young buck, a serious young buck that has some skills and playmaking ability, make him ours, and then make a run at it with him leading the show.
Yeah. Jared, what's the offer? Nobody knows. Kwesi probably offered low. I'm sure he did, but Kwesi, to his credit, is a numbers guy, and he's going to have a price point that he's not going to go over. And if they made the best offer right off the get-go and Kirk said no thanks, then fine.
But by all accounts, I'm hearing Kirk ain't even going to be able to start until week 6 of next season.
Depends on who you talk to. I've heard that, but I've also heard that he's going to be ready for training camp. So,
anyways, bottom of the story is the dude is going to be, 38, 39 this coming
36.
season?
He's 36.
So he's going to be 37 years old, coming off a serious injury, and you don't know what he's going to look like going forward. If it comes to be week 6 that he's not going to come back, and I don't know about anybody else, but me as a fan, I'm ready to move on.
I absolutely am too.
I'm not here to fight with anybody about wanting Kirk to be here or not wanting Kirk to be here. My personal opinion, I'm ready to move the fuck on without Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. I am as well. Dan makes a good point here. He doesn't think he's worth $45 million. Realistically, somebody probably will pay him $45 million.
Yes. Good for Kirk Cousins if that's the case.
But if that's the case, it's not going to be in Minnesota. No. Yeah, Reggie, he'll be 36.
I like Drew's little comment that he has right here. Down at the bottom. No more Kirk talk. Let's just discuss the alternatives other than Kirk.
Yep. So, we'll move on to the alternatives here. Just a second. A couple more things, quick news-wise. Justin Jefferson contract waiting. They've said he wants to wait until he finds out what the quarterback situation is going to be before he signs his deal. He's earned that right. We still have him under control for this season, so I'm not concerned at that point yet. The other one, Marcus, I spent most of my season on the Davenport. His contract officially voided today. So
no way. I thought we'd ask him to come back.
Yeah. JJ will sign during training camp. I think it happens before training camp. I think once the draft is over.
Right around draft time. Once the draft is done, we're going to have a very, very clear picture as to what JJ is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think JJ is going to have a huge say in if the plan is to go get a guy in the draft, JJ's opinion is going to be held in high regard by the organization.
Doc, they've got a plan in place for quarterback. You can't be at this point in time in the season.
No.
Jared, this is part of it too because you've got a couple other guys that are looking at contract extensions too. So.
Oh yeah, there's more. There's a few things that go into his thought process for sure. It's not just one thing and that only.
Yep. All right, so to or Matty Man would sign after we draft a quarterback. I think so too. Good evening, by the way. Welcome to the show. A couple of new names are here tonight. That's always good to see. If you haven't, make sure you hit that like when you come in, hit the subscribe, hit the follow, all that good stuff. Skull Mafia think it's funny we can bring Kirk back, Hunter, sign JJ, bring in a new blood, never going to happen. It could happen if you turn right around and go back and do the same crap that Rick Spielman did.
Oh, yeah.
Kick all the contracts down. That's another argument I made earlier. Kwesi has worked way too damn hard to get rid of those bullshit contracts that Spielman left us with, to turn right around and throw us right back into that again.
Kwesi has us right where he said where he wants us to be at this point in time. As far as salary cap goes, we're finally starting to dig ourselves out of that hole that Rick and Zim kicked the can down, the road. We're finally starting to get to the point to where the building of the dynasty or a competitive team is, we're right at that threshold.
Yep. Well, as it sits right now, 2025, this team, I think right now sits with $100 million in cap space.
Yeah. And that's top 5, salary cap right there.
So let's talk alternatives here. Assuming we are not re-signing Kirk Cousins, we will make that assumption for the topic of this discussion. Then what do? Do you bring back Danielle Hunter? That's our next question.
That's all up to Danielle, in my opinion. I think it all comes down to what Danielle wants to do. Does he want to see, what else is out there, or does he want to come back and continue to play under, Brian Flores?
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a good idea to sign him to an extension. He's coming off of arguably one of his best seasons. And that's just his second season in this system. And now that he's being used the way that he should be all along, his production's starting to pick up as well. So, I think ideally you bring him back. I don't want to see him go to somebody like Chicago. I think he has another good 2 to 3 years left in his tank of good, productive seasons before he starts to fade off,
And I think that's going to be the key to re-signing him. Is he going to be okay with a 2 to 3 year deal, which I think is probably what Kwesi would push for?
Heck, even giving him a 4-year deal, you don't have one of those be a void year or something, you know.
But on a 4-year deal, you're looking at 34 years old as an edge rusher there. It's getting a little bit, you're getting a little bit far out there. I mean, if you're going to do that, you just as well go down and get Josh Allen or somebody who's going to be a little more expensive, but he's 26 years old versus 30.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Fort Matty man, 3-year, $25 million a year. I could see something like that. Probably.
Yeah.
I don't think I wouldn't go more than that.
That's a premier price tag at his position, I believe. Yeah.
And his age. Because he's 30.
And his age, yeah. I mean, it'd be great if we could do like a 22 or a 21, but a 25 to me sounds fair.
I don't go over 25. I don't care. I don't go over 25. Right. And again, same thing as with Kirk. Kwesi's going to have a price point with Hunter that if he demands more than that, he's going to walk. And the thing is, if both of them walk, we get comp picks next year. Third round, they're both worth third-round picks next year.
Yep. And in my opinion, this upcoming draft is the most important draft of, KOC's and Kwesi's tenure so far. The first two drafts, the first draft especially, man. Wow. Wow. But the second draft is looking much better. Let's hope that the trend continues, going into this draft coming up. So
yeah, I'm with Skull Mafia on here, Dave. I'm not sign. I don't want to sign Kirk back for a 1-year guarantee. And Kirk's not going to sign a 1-year contract. He's not going to. And I'm ready to cut the cord. We can't keep, like we just talked about a little while, we just can't keep doing this. We can't.
No.
Reggie thinks Hunter's going to get at least $20 million. I'll give him $20 million. I'll give him $20 million for 3 years.
That'd be a deal. That would be a team-friendly deal, in my opinion, if you can get him for $20 million a year.
Yep. Drew, it's about playmakers. Hunter's the only real playmaker on the defense. Be careful letting him go. I agree. If you can't get Hunter, you better be having, like I said, a Josh Allen.
I don't know if he's the only real playmaker. I think Metellus is making a really, really good case for that.
From the pass rush side of things.
Yeah, on the pass rush side,
he's the only pass rusher we've got.
Well, Pace is, I think, yet to be seen. But
Pace is an inside linebacker. You got to have outside pass rush.
Right. You're talking about edge rushers for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, edge rushers were really thin. I agree. Absolutely.
So, I mean, you're going to have to, regardless, you're going to have to either sign somebody in free agency, whether you can get a DJ Wanham back on a cheap price, which I think you may be able to coming off an injury.
I believe so, too. I agree. Yeah, I think if we can't get Hunter, you definitely talk seriously into getting DJ Wanham back. So at least there's that, he knows the system, and
and Wanham played well last year. He played a lot better than I expected.
Well since he came into the league. He's overplayed his rookie, draft position.
I mean, and there's other guys too. Kwesi seems to like those 1-year prove it deals on some of these guys that are maybe a little bit out. Chase Young is an option.
That would be another option, yes.
Guys like that, I don't think you can rely on them to be your top guy, but on that opposite side of things, we paid Marcus Davenport $13 million for 6 plays or whatever the hell it was. I think we could pay the same amount of money for a Chase Young.
By the way,
I have concerns with Chase Young, so I'm just throwing him out there because he's a big name that's available.
Right. So, and I wasn't saying Metellus is going to get 15 sacks. I'm just saying he's a hell of a playmaker on the defense. You can't not say he's not a playmaker, because he was sure as all a damn good playmaker this year, all over the field.
Dan, I'm getting to that part in just a second, so we'll hit him in just a minute. Disgusting good evening, AJ. Good evening. But yeah, as far as if we target a edge rusher, I don't think it's, unless we can't get a quarterback, and if we can't get a quarterback, we're fucked. But I don't think we're going to take an edge rusher in the first round. Second round, maybe, if we can keep this year's second round pick in the.
I love what Drew's comment there. That's exactly
and that's where I'm looking. That's another thing. By not re-signing Kirk, you can go get a Christian Wilkins or a Chris Jones or somebody like that on the inside that can go in.
As it is right now with the guys we have, and I mentioned it last week, they play good as a unit, but we're just missing that one guy that goes above the rest to make those splash plays along that defensive line that we need. And that would pay huge dividends to the edge rushers coming from the outside.
Yep. Sweat in round 2, Jared.
That would be.
I like this in Devontae Sweat.
That pick in round 2, Jared, for sure.
Yep. Anyway, so yes, let's talk options at quarterback. Assuming Kirk Cousins is gone, which we're assuming for this topic of discussion, I'm not really in on this whole bridge quarterback idea. The more I think about it, the more it's, if we're going to get somebody in here, we look at these rookie quarterbacks that come in and fail. Most of them are going to shit organizations that don't have talent around them to put them in positions to succeed. A lot of people don't
see it. Yes, I agree. What you're on right now is perfect, Rhino. Yes.
Yep. So you get we're not going to get Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams is going to go number 1. I think Washington actually trades up with Chicago and takes him, but that's my personal opinion. So realistic target is getting up to probably pick 3, because I think if Chicago trades out of the first pick, they're taking Marvin Harrison and they're keeping Justin Fields, unless they maybe like a Drake May or something better and then pick up Neighbors later on. But I don't think Neighbors will be there at 9. So you're looking at just say, for example, that Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison go 1-2. At 3, you're looking at having an option of a Drake May, a Jaden Daniels, that early. Myself, I like them both.
Yeah, this year
we've had this discussion before. I know,
right?
We're going to drive Ryan B nuts if he's in the chat.
Right. It's been a long time. I think it's been since before we even started the show where we've had this many quarterbacks with this much potential in the sitting this high on scouting boards in a long time. And I haven't seen a draft like this in a long time where they have quarterbacks worthy of the first round tag that these guys are. We've had drafts where they had guys like Geno Smith that were, first rounders because of how the draft was, and the guys that were coming out that year. Are drafts with like EJ Manuel, who was a draft with a couple of other
Christian Pond. That 2011 draft, Ponder, Jake Locker, Blaine Gabbert, all of those guys that were garbage.
Yeah, and this year though, I believe we have 4 to 5 viable guys that could.
I think this could be, another one of those years like the draft where you saw Marino and all of those guys, Elway and everybody coming out of that 84 draft. I think this could be another 30 years later.
I don't think since we've been doing the show that we've had so many quarterbacks to talk about, because I think the one year was Trey Lance was one of the guys we were talking about. Last year was Anthony Richardson and a couple other guys that there's a good crop of quarterbacks coming in this year. And that's why I say, if this is the year that we're going to go get and find our guy and scout the guy and go up and do whatever it takes to get him, we get him.
Yep. Brother Dave asks, does Jaden's size concern you? He's a little light of frame, and he's going to have to learn to slide at the next level versus going head first and taking on tackles like he does in college. But other than that, I'm not too concerned with it. He's a smart kid. I think he can figure it out.
First and foremost, the smartest thing to do is actually believe that the guy you're going to get is going to be the guy that's going to lead this team. Not just somebody that you hear is going to be great or whatever and whatnot. You have to believe in the pick that you take is going to be the guy that's going to lead this team. And then when you do what it takes to go get him.
And, we brought this up before. Ben Gessling said this a couple of weeks ago on Paul Allen's show. If the Vikings lock in on their guy, they're not going to bat an eye at having trade future first-round picks to go get him, but they're also not going to take a quarterback just to take one.
Right.
So,
exactly.
If they don't get a Drake May or a Jaden Daniels up top, there's been a lot of steam the last week about J.J. McCarthy rocketing up the draft boards, and a lot of people are pointing him towards Minnesota as being a potential good fit.
I think his stock is going to soar going into the draft, and I think he will be gone in the first round. I don't think McCarthy makes it past the first round.
I made the comment the other night. I don't think he makes it past 15.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, top 15, but he absolutely is not going to make it out of the first round because somebody's going to trade back into that first round to get him if that happens, if it gets to that point.
Good evening, Norsefius. Quasey's going to shock everybody and take Spencer Rattler in the first. I don't think Spencer Rattler's going first round.
Spencer Rattler shouldn't be mentioned until at least the late third or fourth round, at least.
I think he'll go higher than that, but I know Drew spoke very highly of him on his quarterback show last week. Very good write-up, by the way, on that one, Drew. But, you know, I was a little soft on McCarthy when this stuff started, but the more I watch the kid,
look into him and
I mean, you're banking on a lot of potential with him, and I think there is a lot of potential there.
Well, yeah, and then when you really truly go and you start to scout the kid and you start to watch some of the tape and watch some of the game, and then you realize, he's playing a pro style offense, and his coach is a former NFL head coach, former NFL quarterback. The guy, all the equation of this guy leads to success, in my opinion. If maybe not the first year, but eventually it's going to equate to success.
Yes. I'm starting the campaign, just say no to Bo.
Bo to me is almost as polarizing right now to this fan base as the guy that has yet to sign.
I know. I am convinced the Bo Brigade is a extension and another division of the Kyrgyzstan Army. There are guys out there that are as gaga head over heels for Bo Nix, and I'm pretty sure they're the same people that are gaga head over heels for Kirk Cousins.
I don't think Nix is the first tier quarterbacks that you're looking at taking. Nix is more on the level of a guy that you take a flyer on, in my opinion, and if you might get like a Will Levis almost type as far as that goes to me, anyways.
I think Bo Nix's leadership. He's got some of that. The thing I don't like about Bo Nix, the biggest thing is everybody look at his numbers. He threw 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns. Yeah, but he had the sixth lowest average depth of reception in the FBS.
He's taking the safe throws.
And 54% of his passing yards are yak that the receiver got. So you put that out there, his stats are 2,000 yards.
And you know what we say is in the end all say all.
I'm not a scout. We're a third-rate podcast that sits here.
Right. If our opinions, I'm not sold on Nix, and that's just
I'm not either. Oregon's offense was specifically designed to hide Bo Nix's deficiencies, and they did a good job. You want to see the real Bo Nix? You go back and look at him in Auburn.
Yeah,
and they expected him to be the guy in Auburn, and he couldn't handle it.
Yeah,
and he was awful there. He went to Oregon where there was more talent around him and where they could disguise the stuff. He's a one-read guy, and if that read's not there, he's hitting the dump-off pass. He's a lot like Kirk Cousins. He's not going to take unnecessary risks. He's not going to.
I seen that, whoever you are, I see that.
Yeah. But he's not going to do any of that stuff that's going to get him in trouble. He is basically young Kirk Cousins. You want to, Kirk 2.0, if you want to put it that way.
Yeah.
Hey, good evening, Rap. Exactly my point that I made earlier. Led the league in passes behind the line of scrimmage and all that stuff. Yep. And Kevin O'Connell likes.
You don't lump Bo Nix in with those other guys because, in my opinion, those other four aforementioned guys are in the first tier, and then Bo Nix is he's going in that second tier for me.
And
that means that if they're in the second tier, he's not. That's not somebody I even want to put my hands on, honestly. Then we're not serious about quarterback. I
don't myself personally. If I'm an NFL scout, Bo Nix is. I I'm questioning taking him in the first round even. I'm looking at Bo Nix is probably an early second round pick.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing with Michael Penix. I love Michael Penix's arm, but the part that's scary, and again,
Sam Bradford disease,
the thing has been talked about beat to death with Michael Penix. He's been healthy for 2 years, so that's something. But the thing that with Penix that concerns me is he can't handle the interior pressure. Where do the Vikings give up the most pressure? Up the middle. It's on the right team with a great offensive line, he's going to do well. But
I don't know if he has the ability to push the ball down the field on a consistent basis.
Penix or Nix?
Nix.
No, I don't think so either. And that's the thing. O'Connell
50-yard line, third in the end zone, probably.
Yeah, O'Connell's offense makes its hay in that intermediate to deeper part of these stuff. And if you got a guy that can't push that down the field like that, I mean, all the other guys in that top tier, your Jaden Danielses, your Drake Mays, your Caleb Williams, your JJ McCarthy, they've all got an arm that can push it down the field, and
they're looking to throw the ball down the field.
Right. Teams might be taking Nick Phillips or JJ because they want 50, and that is so they will get drafted higher. Honestly, I think the steam on the JJ McCarthy, he's not going to have to worry about.
No, I think that
option because he's getting taken high enough. But the other two, yeah, I could see it.
Unless JJ McCarthy goes and completely self-implodes at the combine or his pro day, his stock is going to continue to get red hot.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Bob Marley fan, so maybe he borrows Laramie Tunsil's mask. I don't know, but anyway, so yeah, it's two of the biggest issues right there we've talked about: quarterback, edge rusher, and the third one is that interior line pressure. And I see the comment section has delved into
I thought we got
after dark and
this is Vikings Uncensored, I suppose.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that is true. But yeah, beyond that, we talked about it. Interior defensive line pressure. We got to find something there that is going to help. It's a Christian Wilkins. It's a Chris Jones, who I forget who mentioned earlier, probably getting franchise tagged by Kansas City. Now they had a. Did they tag him this year?
They did. He was holding out. He just
I know he was holding out, so I don't remember if they just signed him to a 1-year extension or if he was franchise tagged in. Dave Stefano or if somebody in the comments knows, throw it in the in the comments. But brought that up a little bit earlier, of course. No matter who we get, we still got to fix the O-line problems.
I honestly believe the O-line is a lot closer to being fixed than a lot of these fans think. I think it only comes down to getting that one big goon. Reisner, I loved Reisner when he came in. That, like I said, we're only one move away from solidifying that offensive line, and I believe it comes right back to the center, in my opinion. Yep. I think Ingram needs to continue to get better, towards the end of the year.
I think Ingram is at the point where we can quit complaining about Ed Ingram. He's
right,
a decent right guard now.
I believe fixing this O-line is a lot closer than people realize.
Mm-hmm. But we've talked about this before. Garrett Bradbury, who has played better under Kevin O'Connell, but he still gets bullied by those big physical defensive linemen, the Dexter Lawrences, the Kenny Clarks.
We need a physical center. We need a physical center that can push these nose tackles around, and like you mentioned earlier, the penetration that this O-line gives up, a lot of it comes through the interior of the offensive line, and it goes right through Garrett Bradbury, right either to the right of him or the left of him.
Yep.
And it isn't on the guards.
I want some big mauler up there like a Jackson Powers Johnson, the kid out of Oregon. That kid is a house, and he pushes people like a killdozer.
Yeah, we need somebody like that.
There's a couple other guys too that are in there. Limmer's a guy out of Arkansas that he's a little bit smaller, but could be a fit later on. A few other guys right now that the names are escaping me. I had them written down someplace, but I lost my paperwork.
Maybe center's something that we could even address in free agency. I don't know who's available or who's going to be available, but I mean, you got to get somebody in there that's got some build and a good anchor and somebody that's going to manhandle and maul some bitches.
Yeah.
But I don't think I've ever seen Bradbury pancake anybody in this league ever.
No. His is more of a crepe than a pancake.
Crepes. Say you love crepes, Ricky Booby. Ricky Booby.
Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of the biggest thing where we can.
Yeah. Second one tonight. Let's mention that.
Yep. Let's get Lance a jersey and get him out there.
Right. I don't know. I smoke cigarettes. I might not be able to do the job.
Lance will be keeled over dead at the 30-yard line after about 3 snaps.
That field goal kicker on what is it? The replacement, smoking cigarettes and drinking on the sideline.
Van Pram, that's the other one I was thinking about. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, the kid
I love all the new names I'm seeing tonight in the comment section. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. Thank you guys all for coming. Yeah. The originals. I love you guys being here. This is great. Good night tonight for Vikings Uncensored.
Bradbury looks like the guy in the old Trapper camping commercial. Connor Williams, Miami's the best free agent center. Connor Williams is a very good center.
A Scarecrow would probably do better than Bradbury at center right now, honestly.
Yeah. Connor Williams, if we could get him, I would be extremely happy with that. And Garrett Bradbury's contract is very easy to get out under this year. Most of the guaranteed money was last year, so.
Give Quessy a pat on the back for that one. Quessy doesn't get – people like to attack Quessy quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
I like what he's done so far. Yeah, he had his hiccups, but this is his first go-around, and he's learning still. Then this is his third year. This is his biggest year as a GM. This is going to tell you all you need to know this year.
Exactly.
So, I'm happy with the direction he has his team going.
Yep. We got quite a few notable dates coming up here in fairly quick succession for the NFL calendar. So let's take a look at those quick. Coming up next week, February 20th. The franchise and transition tag window opens. Anybody tickle your fancy for franchise tagging on this team, Lance?
Are we even able to franchise Hunter?
No, because he had a no tag clause put in his last contract.
Well, that's probably the only guy that, if possible, the franchise would be the guy at franchise tag. Other than that, if people don't want a beer, let them walk. Let's bring in the guys that want to stay here and play and get that first one. Dan Campbell in the house.
Damn, the coach of the Detroit Lions is in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, Dan Campbell.
Welcome. You come to the right place.
Yeah. Franchise Kurt, just kidding. Yep, we couldn't do it even if him and Kirby got the crowbars, huh?
If there was a little blue check mark next to his name, I'd be all over it, man.
Yeah. Welcome, Dan. We appreciate all fans, whether they're Detroit Lions fans, Chicago Bears fans, Packers fans. Hey, it's all good. Fight me, Dan. I bite too. Dan versus Dan. Sunday.
Okay, so say we're not going quarterback in the first round. Who are you taking at 11?
If we're not going quarterback in the first round, something has gone seriously wrong if we're not taking a quarterback in the first round. But
yeah, I agree.
For argument's sake, I say we're going edge rusher. It's going to be a Jared Verse. It's going to be a somebody like that. One of the kids out of Alabama. Latu out of UCLA is a very good player, but he's got more injury red flags than a Chinese military parade.
Yeah, I honestly believe
might be a defensive tackle like the Newton kid out of Illinois or Byron Murphy Jr. out of Texas. Somebody like that. That's where I would go.
Yeah. I would say edge rusher or maybe even like DB, the best DB if he's all out there. So,
although if the Vikings draft another first-round cornerback, Vikings fans will probably riot at Egan.
You know, if the Vikings do not draft a quarterback in the first round, I think a lot of Vikings fans are going to riot. You know, I think it's almost I think we're at the point now. If Kirk doesn't sign by the time free agency opens, we're going to be doing what Carolina did last year and looking at getting up into the first part of that draft sooner than later. It's probably be before the draft even begins.
Well, if Kirk Cousins does not extend by the 13th of March, then that $28.5 million dead money accelerates and we pay it regardless. So if he's not signed by then, he's not coming back.
Yeah. And like I said, and then in my opinion, as an organization, the sooner, if you can get a deal done for one of those top 5 picks, preferably top 3, top 4, before the draft,
I think it's got to be before free agency, because if you wait until the draft, free agency's already happened and Kirk is gone. Yeah. The asking price for that pick is.
That's what I'm saying. The longer you wait to draft up into the first part of that draft, the higher the price is going to go on those picks. And like with what Carolina did last year, they were able to get it done 2 months before the draft even started.
Well, the scouting combine, this is another next big date after the franchise tag, is February 27th through March 4th in Indy. That's where a lot of these deals get done. Is at, there's discussions going on, everything else.
And honestly, I think that's about the time that deal last year with Carolina did get done. And it was smart for Carolina to do that, but they went and they made the wrong decision. So, I mean, let's just hope that that's not what ends up here.
Nice. Disgusting act like Slatu if he go ahead. I mean, he's a hell of a player. It's just a lot of injury concerns on there, and at that violent position like that, I don't know that I trust it.
You guys all remember.
But anyway, to finish off the point I was going to make earlier, February 27th through March 4th, that's where all these discussions happen. If you're going to be able to get up to the top 3, a lot of people are saying that New England might be open for business because they're going to be looking for a veteran quarterback. You make that trade before March 11th.
I don't know. I just have a hankering, and I know that people want to get to the top 3, but I think number 4 just might be that number that we end up with.
But you can't make that trade before the draft, because if you trade up to 4 and the top 3 quarterbacks go 1, 2, 3, you just gave up a shit ton of stuff.
I know.
A JJ McCarthy that you could have gotten at 7 or 8.
Yeah, I know.
It's trade up to the top 3 or you don't do it. You can't take that risk.
You can't trade to number 4 before the draft, but you can trade up to number 3 before, is what you're saying. Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
It makes sense.
You trade up to anywhere that, I mean, Chicago's likely not going to trade with us, so it's 2 or 3, and it's likely going to be 3.
Yeah.
Judge Zolgad. Okay. But yeah, you can't trade to 4 and just pray that the top 3 quarterbacks don't go 1, 2, 3. You can't.
You're taking a big risk there, but I mean, at the same time, when's the last time quarterback's gone 1, 2, 3? It hasn't happened in a long time.
I'm not doing it, Lance. I'm not doing it. You can't trade to 4. You can't trade to 4. You can't trade to 4.
You trade up to 4 thinking you're going to get your guy, and then boom, 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 and then there's nobody there except for the guy.
If you're trading up before the draft, you're trading to 3 because you know you're going to get one of those top 3 quarterbacks. There's probably even going to be 2 of them available. But if you don't make that trade there and you get to draft day, and at 4 there's still at least one of them, then you can make that trade up.
Okay, so that being said, Rhino, say your top 3 guys go. Do you take McCarthy at 11, or do you try to trade back and snag him?
No, you don't. If McCarthy's your guy, here again, this all boils down to: do they believe JJ McCarthy can be the guy? If yes, and he's there at 11, then you absolutely take him. You don't get cute. You don't try to trade back to 15 or whatever, because if you don't take him at 11, I think either Denver will take him at 12 or the Raiders will take him at 13.
And then the same cycle starts over again.
Exactly.
Because then you're stuck with Bo Nix or Michael Penix and the next tier guys that it would pop the balloon, in my opinion, if you go.
And Norsefius makes a good point here. You may have to trade up to get JJ McCarthy. If, again, assuming you believe McCarthy can be your guy, if you get to 7 or 8, I think I make that trade.
See, I truly believe in McCarthy, and I believe that his play in the college translates to the NFL. But the thing about McCarthy is I just don't think he's going to be ready year one. I think eventually he's going to be a great quarterback, but I think it's going to take a year. But then there's a lot of guys that people say that about, and they come out, and it just clicks, and it just works. But, any of those 4 guys, I would be elated over getting.
But here again, this rolls back to what we talked about earlier. If
great comment
with the the surrounding cast that he has here on offense, I think McCarthy can go in. We're going to have to get a little better of a running game to help him out, I think, but he can be successful right off the get-go. Dave, yeah. Last time I went 1, 2, 3 was back in 2021. That would have been, not that long ago. Dan would rather have McCarthy in next year's first and second than this year's second and Mayor Daniels.
Wow.
Again, I don't want to settle. I want to swing for the fences. If we, and again, we have to remember what are the Vikings going to want, not what we want. I want Drake May or Jaden Daniels. One of those two. That's the guy I want. I like JJ McCarthy, and if we can't get the other two, I'm fine with him. But
I like all 4, Caleb Williams included, and just the thing that shades me away from Caleb.
If we trade up to 3 and Caleb Williams is sitting there and the other 2 are gone, you take Caleb Williams.
Yeah, like I said, any 4 of those guys, and that's great. I mean, any 4 of those guys, if we get any one of those guys, I'm going to be happy.
Yeah. Basically a running offense. Yeah, I mean, is he going to be lights out Patrick Mahomes year one? Probably not.
And Patrick Mahomes isn't lights out year one because Patrick Mahomes said a year before he started.
Yeah, I mean, he started at the end of his rookie season, but it's
people don't realize that Mahomes didn't come out and start his first season when he was in the year as a rookie. It took him until the end of the season to supplant Alex Smith at that starting spot.
Yep. At 2021, it was Trevor Lawrence, it was Zach Wilson, and it was Trey Lance. 1, 2,
wow. Wilson. Wow.
Yeah. Michigan was a pro-style offense.
True.
Very, very true, Norsefius, and I think that if you look at current style of Kevin O'Connell offense, I think Drake May and JJ McCarthy are your 2 probably prime fits. But also we need to remember, people talk about, he didn't change the offense when Josh Dobbs came in last year. It's hard to completely switch an offense to a quarterback with a completely different skill set than what it was set up for.
Yeah.
We have to remember that this offense has been set up for 2 years to run under a Kirk Cousins or a Nick Mullins type.
And I don't think that tells you that is exactly what. Everybody believes that KOC wants this pocket passing guy that doesn't get out of the pocket and make plays on the run. I don't think that's the case.
No,
I think
don't either.
KOC has tailored his offense for Kirk Cousins. I believe KOC has his own flavor of quarterback, and Cousins is a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but that's what he's had. But I think he has his own flavor, and he's going to get that guy. And I don't believe it's just sit in the pocket and deliver from the pocket. I believe he wants a guy that can do both at a good or elite level, like anybody, any coach wants, But I don't believe he's stuck just to a pocket.
No, I don't think so either. Because I mean, if you believe the rumors and they've come from very reputable sources that the Vikings tried to go up last year.
Exactly. That's a prime example of it. Yes.
to get Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is a dual threat quarterback, mobile, everything else. Much like Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is a better runner. I mean, Drew made the comment in his
Richardson's a hell of a runner. Jaden Daniels is a better passer than Richardson at this point. Yes.
Yeah. Drew made his comment during his quarterback write-up last week on Vikings Report. Again, like I mentioned, go back and watch that if you haven't done so. That Jaden Daniels will be the best running quarterback in NFL history, better than Michael Vick, better than what's his face in Baltimore.
See, that's the thing, though. And with the way this offense is run, if you can get defensive backs to creep up because they're afraid of the run coming from the quarterback, that's exactly what's going to let this offense loose. And they weren't able to do that with Dobbs because Dobbs wasn't consistent enough pushing the ball down the field. Dobbs is highly go out, pull those defensive backs off those receivers a little bit, and the quarterback that can deliver and release and drop it in the bucket. This offense, it was already well on the way to being the number one offense in the league. And I mean, it just, we need a guy that
you can't completely switch gears midway through the season, week 9 or whatever it was. It's too hard to do that. But if you give Kevin O'Connell the entire offseason to tailor an offense to fit a Jaden Daniels, he'll do it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I absolutely agree.
Yep. But I mean,
sitting on his desk right now with 3 different, styles to play for a quarterback. But
right.
I mean,
and maybe they do want a more pocket style quarterback, than a Drake May or a JJ McCarthy fits that bill, and then they're mobile. They're still more mobile than Kirk Cousins.
Drake May is sneaky mobile.
He is. He absolutely
makes plays with his legs as well as his arm, but he makes better plays with his arm. Yes.
Yeah, he's more of a pocket first, whereas Jaden Daniels will take off and run. Probably a little bit more than he should.
The thing with Drake May is he doesn't even need to step up into the pocket to deliver the ball 50 yards down the field. He can, off of a flat base, make the throw.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's got a cannon for an arm. He can make all the throws. Well, any of these top 4 guys can make all the throws.
And he's looking, and then a lot of these guys are looking to hit the receivers on the run, where a lot of guys at the next level have a problem with placing the ball to where the receiver can just grab it and keep going.
Yep. So, I mean, it's, I'm perfectly happy getting any of those top 4 guys. Like I said, my top 4 are Drake May and Jaden Daniels are my 1 and 1A. I like Jaden Daniels a little bit more just for the more dynamic and the dual threat ability. Drake May is that's a slightly number 2. Caleb Williams, is my 3rd pick. And then after that, it's JJ McCarthy. Any of those guys, and I'm happy.
Well, it's just like Skull Mafia said, if the Vikings think 4 quarterbacks are trade worthy, they can move to 4 to get their guy.
Yep.
And if that,
I don't think you have to go to 4 to get JJ McCarthy. You can,
I think
you start looking at 7 or 8 might be a primary. Hey, you're gonna have to go get him.
Yeah. But I don't know.
If you believe in him,
right.
Disgusting act. Love this 3rd down game. He's clutch, but I need to see more. And that's the thing with McCarthy. You're looking at a lot of potential because they didn't ask a lot out of him in Michigan. When they did, he was able to produce, and that's one thing I like.
Guess who had some really crappy 3rd down game this year, and who has had some crappy third down game throughout his career. We've talked about him enough, though, but you all know who he is.
Yeah. JJ keeps his head up to pass, and that's another thing Drake May does as well. That once they break pocket, they're still looking to throw down the field. Jaden Daniels once he breaks pocket, most of the time he's going to take off and he's gone.
Something with that, though, is if the player's willing to take the coaching that's given to him, then that can be fixed.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with
try to force it on a running quarterback that can ruin him, though, too. And I don't know. So,
but the biggest thing with Daniels is you're going to have to teach him to slide and to give himself up instead of initiating contact like he did at LSU. Because if you do that in the NFL, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah. Yep.
Just remember, the Vikings always do what we don't want, so don't be surprised if they pass on a quarterback. Another safety. Skull Mafia wins the comment of the night with that one right there. Hey,
Last
Barber,
call.
good evening.
Last call, guys. I believe,
Yeah,
right?
we've gone on about 55 minutes here. Still got 16 people in the chat. Great turnout tonight. Love to see that. 17 in there right now. Make sure you guys hit that like too. That helps us out a ton when you do that. So
subscribe, like the page, follow the page, just subscribe
follow
to
the
our
Facebook
YouTube
page, subscribe to the YouTube, follow at Vikings Uncensored on Twitter. You guys know the drill.
You all know what to do.
Yep. But yeah, we've gone on for about 55 minutes here. We're going to do a quick stay or go with some key names here to end out the night, and then we'll let everybody get on with their Friday. So I'll run them off here rapid fire, Lance. Just a quick stay or go. All right, Kirk Cousins.
Go.
Neil Hunter.
Stay.
Justin Jefferson.
Stay. Easy.
Harry the Hitman Smith.
If he's willing to come back on the year or a veteran minimum for 1 year, keep him. If not, then I think signs are pointing towards him hanging it up. Unless he goes and joins Zimmer down there in Dallas for a year.
Okay. Jordan Hicks.
He could stay. He had a good enough year to think I would be willing to give him another 1 year deal. I'd keep him.
DJ Wanham.
Stay. I'd like to see Wanham stay.
Garrett Bradbury.
Go. Walk. Get out of here. Let's get somebody better.
Alexander Madison.
Madison, honestly, not coming back on the starter at getting the starting reps, but I'm ready to move on from Madison. Great player, great guy, all that, but I'm willing to part ways.
Okay. KJ Osborne.
I think he's as good as gone. Honestly, he's honestly a great human being to say the first and foremost.
Mm-hmm.
Would I like to hang on to him? Yes, but his play when he was given a chance to grab that brass ring, he really fell off a cliff. Yep. So I mean, I wish him the best moving forward, but I would let KJ go and see if there's anything out there for him.
Brandon Powell.
Stay. I like me some Powell.
Johnny Munt.
Go. But he's like I said, he's a KOC guy. I don't know if that's going to happen, but Munt can go.
Okay. The last one. Kane Wongwu.
I'm on the fence on that one. I don't know if there's I'd be okay with him going to. You can't just keep betting on his speed that something's going to it's like if he wants to go and doesn't want to be here, I'm okay with him walking.
All right. That about does it tonight. Again, want to thank all you guys. We got 18 people in the chat yet here at the very end of the show. Make sure you go out and check out all the Vikings content creators out there putting out good stuff. Rap's got a show here coming up at 8:30 tonight. Make sure you check him out. Purple and Gold for Days, our buddy Justin, Minnesota Sports Talk, Dave over there. Vikings First and Skol with David Stefano, Darren Campbell, sorry, caught up on my tongue, and Tyler Fornes. Make sure you check out them. Vikings Report with Drew and Ted over there, as always, with also now Christopher Gates joining in on their regular studio shows. Everybody else out there, I know there's more out there that I keep forgetting. GG Sports Talk, Skull Mafia, thank you for that as well. All the guys out there, we do this for you guys. We enjoy the interaction, the discussion. Great talk tonight. We love these live shows. I want to do as many live shows as I can because it's so much more fun interacting with you guys and seeing the comments. A lot of the ones we couldn't post up on the screen tonight, they were quite humorous in the.
It's like the big group of people that just sit around at the bar, honestly, and talk Vikings football is what it is, and that's what I love about this show.
Yep.
So.
Of course, Doc, cannot forget the shout out to the Filipino fan club. I know they're watching tonight. Noi, Nympha, Nimsam, BB Jen, all you guys that watch over there every week. Thank you guys for watching half around the world. We got an Argentina guy that comes in and joins us quite often. It's Vikings Uncensored has gone international, and we're extending our reach. So Appreciate it. Barber, thanks for joining in. Better late than never. I'll go back and check us out. Make sure you go check out everybody else out there as well. And again, thank you, everybody, from the bottoms of our heart. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us. We're almost to year 4, starting on year 4 here very shortly. So
yeah, wow.
It's hard to believe we've been doing it for that long, but we're having a great time, and we're not going to stop. So, again, thank you, everybody. And why don't you take us home, Lance?
That was a great wrap up, man. You got it all. I got
a little windy, but yeah,
Yeah, man. We had what a great turnout tonight. I mean, thank you all for coming and checking us out. If you haven't seen us before, we appreciate you guys coming here. To all of you, keep spreading the word. We're here. We're not going nowhere. Appreciate every single one of you that takes time out of your Friday or Saturday nights, where it's been lately, to come and watch the show. It's great. Love it. With that being said, I'm looking forward to the draft. Rhino wrapped up tonight really well with his little spiel over there. So I guess we'll see you all next week. Millie, Aubrey, if you're watching, Dad loves and misses you. Skol.
All right. You guys all have a great weekend. Oh, programming note, no Rhinos rants on Monday because I have to go on a work trip for my real job. But we will have a Brunswick's Best and studio show either Friday or Saturday night next week. So stay tuned for that. But
I think we'll shoot for Saturday, Rhino. I got Saturday next week. So it's next Saturday. Live show next Saturday. So you guys have a great weekend. Skol Vikes.